Welcome to Nothing Less Than Extraordinary, and an amazing podcast dedicated to ordinary people like you and I that have done extraordinary things in our life. I want this to be a human celebration of the human struggle in this journey called life through its up and down and twist and turn. May their life stories inspire you to reach your greatness and to reach your full potential. It is going to be a lot of fun, lighthearted, and raw in all its form. We will cover topics such as love, depression, divorce, parenting, woman in business, anxiety, addiction, self love, forgiveness, and so many more. I am super thrilled and honored to have you here. My name is Ridon. May you have a great listening.
I know, I love your intro.
Thank you. Hey, it's Friday. I am super, super excited to have my wonderful Brian J. How do you say the last name? Is it
It's Roush.
Roush? Oh, I love
Roush.
that. It's like this.
Very much like Smith, but nothing like it.
I love it. He makes me laugh. And look at his beautiful smile. I like Brian from the start when we connected. And thank you to Alan for connecting us. And there's so many things I want to be able to say about Brian, but we have an amazing topic today. I can't wait to really launch it up. I'm on a high since doing a podcast interview yesterday with one of my good friends, Stephanie Bernier. And then after that interview, I just been like on a creative mode since this morning. And Brian and I, we have this super relationship where we wake up super, super early and we're like texting each other back and forth, back and forth. I feel like he lives next to me.
Well, it's so funny. A lot of my clients say that. Typically the first 2 to 3 months when you come on board with me, we are super engaged with each other.
Yes.
We're meeting weekly, bi-weekly. We see each other in meetings. And then when those projects kind of stop and we don't need to meet on a regular, we get like, what's going on? I had this one client where she's like, I see you more than my husband, and I'm like, I know. So I can totally appreciate that. It's the best part of doing what I do is I get to spend some great intimate conversations and time with new people and to really be able to dive in and find things out.
Oh my God. And he's so good. He's like good therapy for me. And I'm just so happy to be working with him and actually get to know him and on a personal level, on a human to human. And we actually did some work because he helped me with building my business and my website and so on and so forth. But we never really got the time to sit
No,
down and
we
talk to
never
each
had
other
that
until
one-on-one.
today.
We did it via
The
Facebook.
opposite.
We text, right? We never had that one-on-one. And then today's conversation, we're like, oh, I did that, or I have the same similarity. Let me hear your story. So
That's it. And his story is amazing. I feel like the planet, I just feel like the universe is often aligned with me and just working its magic for me. And recently, like I was telling my friend recently, I just feel like the stars are aligned for whatever reason. I'm just trying to enjoy the process. And right now I'm soaked up in the moment, enjoying Brian. So I want to introduce Brian just really quickly because he's so much, but at the same time, just a gist, he's really a marketing guru. He's fantastic. You see on his little background over there, small business. And he really is helping smaller business trying to succeed and really give them the marketing, the tools. And he's super, super patient and just smiling and happy all the time. I feel blessed to have you, Brian. Honestly, thank you, Alan, for sending you my way. It's just been two amazing people. And I met other people as well through the Happy Co-op. That was very nice. Claudia is one of them as well. But yes, right now we're focused on you, Brian. So thank you for being on the show.
Well, listen, I think someone needs to thank you for making folks like myself, guests on your podcast, feeling extraordinary, right? We're just people that
Yes.
wake up
Yes.
sometimes at 6 in the morning, sometimes at 9, sometimes it needs coffee, sometimes it needs tea. We're just ordinary people doing, as you say, extraordinary things. But in our eyes, we're just living a life, right? We're just taking it one day by day. If we can touch someone or motivate someone, inspire someone, or even change their perspective on life, then okay.
Yeah. Oh my God. You put it so perfectly. And it's like that song, like ordinary, but What? How does the song go again? The
Oh,
ordinary.
you don't want to ask me that. I can't
Oh
carry
my
us.
God, I
I
forgot the
don't even know the
song, but
words
it's.
to Happy Birthday. I struggle. Like, I'm like, what? What comes first? Where are we?
But it's so good the way you put it, and that's the reason why I really just I like to soak and bathe in all of these positivity, and that's my new motto. It's really, and we're gonna dive into that. So the topic of today, like I said, is gonna be about self-worth. So crucial. We hear it all the time, but you got the perfect guy here that really breaks it down and concoct it, because in the little discussion that we had before, I'm like, Brian, we definitely have to do on self-worth.
Right.
You want this message to go through for people, please don't let other people dim your light. So self-worth, don't ever let anybody dim your light. And that goes also well with the topic that I mentioned yesterday, which is alignment, which is finding your purpose that is aligned with who you are, your true expression that the universe has put you here. There's a purpose for you and it's unique to you. So I'm super excited, Brian.
Well, I think a lot of the times we align ourselves to other people's alignment, right? We align ourselves to all of a sudden, I love hiking. Now, mind you, I've never hiked in my life. I do enjoy hiking, but I mean, you find yourself, or the person that never likes ranch, and now they have ranch on every fruit table. Or here's the best one is the folks that don't like dogs and cats. And in their next relationship, they have gerbils and mice and a dog, and they're like, yeah, look at me, my picture of my dog. And you on the other side are knowing, I know you don't like dogs. Okay. It's what we do, right? Because one, we want to be accepted,
Yes.
right? Who wants to be the person sitting at the junior high table all by themselves at lunch? Not me.
Not me neither.
We all have stories, right? We all have moments of life that are worse. Someone's worse than others. Some are better than others. It's all about how you pick yourself up and get through it, right? We've
That's
all been
right.
through it. I've been through it. I survived. I'm happy today. But there was a time where, I mean, I think you said it the best about dimming your light. At some point, I
Yeah.
found myself for the second time in another relationship with the same person, complete darkness. Like
Yeah.
there wasn't even a dim of a light. I
Yeah.
had changed
You
myself so
yeah.
much because of
You want to
previous
stay closer to
relationships.
your camera because when you go far, you lose your voice. I can't figure out
Oh,
what you're saying.
is that
Okay.
better?
That's perfect.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, it's just about keeping it honest because if you're going to be honest, you're going to be genuine with yourself. One, you're going to
Yeah.
find the right person for you, right? Because
Mhm.
now you're who you are.
Yeah.
It's like being in a bag of potato chips when you just want popcorn.
Yeah. That's such a good way of putting it. Yes, it's true.
I equate everything to food and Grey's Anatomy. So just get to know me, we'll be okay.
Whatever works, whatever
Right,
floats your
whatever
boat.
works.
And it's true because honestly, when we were talking about that, Brian has gone through so much. Like he's had, I think it's two divorce, right?
Thank you for reminding me. I appreciate that.
And it's not that it's something bad. I mean, we go through life and we experience different relationship and we have to learn something through that relationship. And the one thing that I've said to Brian that our paths kind of are similar in the sense that we had to learn from our relationship. I've been in a 17 years relationship and had to leave that relationship, and Brian was in two relationship and that didn't work out, but he has an amazing son that, I mean, he's a great example. I can't ask for a perfect, honestly, you're one of my top men because they're, and not to say this in a way that or is judgmental, or because I'm not a very judgmental person.
You know what? Here, you know what? I am a judgmental person, so let me say it for you, so you can
Okay.
stay clean, and I'll
Okay.
get my hands dirty. Okay. What I
Okay.
think you're trying to say,
Yeah.
and I appreciate it, and I'm totally against the stereotype that dads can't be parents, right? And I'll tell
Exactly.
you a story that really frustrates me, and it's the world that we're in.
Right.
My former wife, my son's mother,
Yes.
ex-wife number two, uh, just so you guys can clarify, okay? Uh, I walk into the school and the teachers and moms are, oh my God, it's Brian, it's Jackson's dad, everything is gravy.
Mm-hmm.
Holly, his mother, can walk into the school dropping the candy bags that she's made, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dropping the little snacks and the goody toys that they're doing for the party, and
Mm-hmm.
no one says anything or even offers to pick up. Because the
Mm-hmm.
expectation is, as a female, as the mom, you're supposed to be there.
That's
As a
true.
dad, me just showing up is, oh my God, that's just an amazing thing. And that's not fair. I don't
Right.
parent like that.
Yeah.
My son's mother doesn't parent like that. We are both hands in as much as possible as we
Mm-hmm.
can, because that's what parenting is about. I don't think there should be roles,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think I should be amazed because I showed up to my son's event. It's my
Mm-hmm.
responsibility as a parent. But
Yeah.
I will take that because unfortunately, there's a lot of dads out there, especially single dads. And I
Yeah.
don't like using that term because I personally do not feel like a single parent,
Mm-hmm.
because I have the support of his mother, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we're like that. So I don't feel like a single parent, although technically I am a single parent. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's crazy to me. That
Mm-hmm.
blows my mind that at
Mm-hmm.
40 years old, I got myself in a situation where I am a single parent.
Oh,
But here's the thing, it's okay.
yeah.
We make it work.
We make
It's
it work. And look
something
at
that's
you. You're thriving, you're helping people. I mean, I was at my 42 when, well, maybe 39. I don't know. I don't know what age I left, but it was close to 40. I know like my 40 was coming.
Listen, I told you earlier, I didn't think you were a day over 32. So I don't even understand about this 40 number stuff. I don't understand.
Thank you. Why? I'm thanking my parents and genetic of the Asian blood, but we'll see if this
You
youth
eat
thing is on.
healthy. Now, don't just say that. You eat healthy, right?
I try. Well, yes,
Yeah.
the Asian culture, we tend to eat more healthy. Although, when I now like this year's objective, my goal is now that I'm 40, I want to be able to live to my 90s with my boyfriend and grow old and gray hair with him. So,
90?
mine, yes.
Please, I don't want to live till 90. No, absolutely not.
What age then?
Absolutely.
What age then, Brian?
No. Listen, it all depends, but not 90. I'm like maybe 80, 84. That's a good time to roll out.
I understand. I get you. I get it. But you know what? When you're in love, when thank God I'm still like very much in love. We're still in that honeymoon phase. When you're in love, even if you got like 1,000 year or like a lifetime with that person, it just never feel long enough.
I agree with that. Listen, I know I've been through two divorces, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is. But I've also loved two strong
That's
times,
right.
right?
Yeah.
And so I celebrate that. I am fortunate that not only did I get to love once, not
Yes.
only did I get to love twice, but I got to love three flipping times.
Yes.
Love is, I'm not giving up on it. Will I get married again? I'm not afraid of it,
Mm,
right? And I know what to do right now because I'm healed and stuff, right?
yeah.
I've learned the difference between sacrifice and compromise.
Yeah.
People don't know that.
Yeah.
People don't know the
Well,
difference between
please do explain it
sacrificing and
because people
compromising.
don't understand it, and it's important to clarify that.
Yeah. I'm a huge believer, and I'm sure you know about the five love languages, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. If you do not know your own five love languages, what your top two priorities are, there's your first opportunity. Here's a true story that I was told, and this is what opened my eyes. Because again, mental health is super important, right? No matter
Yeah.
what kind of relationship you're looking at,
Yeah.
be it self-discovery, be it a romantic, be it platonic, be it work, whatever
Mhm.
it is, good mental health is great, right? So here it is, this loving couple. They've been married 52 years. Okay.
Wow.
He is sitting in the living room watching a football game, getting ready to go to work. He works third shift, 11 to 7. He
Oh,
wants his wife to come down and sit with him. That's how he wants to show love. You know what? But she's not doing that. You know what she's doing?
what's she
She's
doing?
in the kitchen making his sandwich and putting together his lunch. So when he goes to work and provides for the family, he has a good food,
Right.
right?
Right.
Her love language is an act of service.
Mm-hmm.
He's not seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
She's not understanding that all he wants is for her to come and sit next. They
Mm-hmm.
are both loving each other as they can,
Right.
but they're not communicating that love because
Right.
the other one isn't hearing it. That makes
Mm.
sense?
Yes, makes perfect
What's your
sense.
love language, Ree? What's
Me,
your
I'm
top two?
actually act of service and let me see. Well, physical, sex is always good with me.
It's listen, listen, sex is amazing. It's not about just sex. It's about sitting at dinner time and having your feet touch each other underneath the table,
It's
right?
true.
It's
Right.
about walking at Walmart with your pinkies just touching. It's about when they're driving and they have one hand on your leg and
Yeah.
the other hand over here,
Yeah.
or a hand in a pocket, or
Yeah.
even just sitting on a couch with one leg over top of one another.
It's
I'm
true.
a touch, but I'm
Right.
also a word. Your words have to match. If you tell me
Mm.
XYZ, it needs to be XYZ. Otherwise, you need to put some maybes or some possibility words in there, right? Don't tell me things. If you tell me you're going to call me later, call me later. If you tell me you're going to try to call me later and you don't, that's okay then.
Oh my God, you just brought a whole bunch of clarity in my head because I did the love language for myself and for my boyfriend as well. But it just dawned on me because he was on too. Like he was the touch and he was also with the word. But now you just brought a whole bunch of clarity to my. I
Yeah.
thought he was just all about the touch and, you know, the sensation and stuff like that. But he's also about the
The
word. And
words.
I'm the
And
type
here's
of person.
another thing about your
Yeah,
touch. If you come home and you're in a bad mood and
yeah,
you're angry
yeah.
and you sitting on the couch and you're not touching him as
Right,
you did yesterday with just your leg
right,
on his leg, then that's telling him that because you're mad about this mood, now
right.
he is being affected of that because of that. Whereas
Oh,
if you were mad because of this, but you come home and you still throw your leg over, you're letting him know that separation of state and church.
and that's a really good point because people have a fine line. They don't know how to make the separation between the two. So good thing I'm going to use my forward thinking and being able to read into the future fast enough. Because sometimes my boyfriend thinks that I'm actually mad at him. He reads my facial expression like all in the wrong way. I tell him like if you read my facial expression and you think this is what I'm feeling, like maybe I might be sad. It's actually the opposite. I'm actually not sad. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. So he forgot to take out, let's say he forgot to take out the garbage that day. And so I said, did you take out the garbage that day? And he said, oh no, I forgot. But I just happened to wake up that day. So I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And so I'm less smiling, I'm less talkative. You know, in the morning, I need to kind of, I'm like going inward. I'm trying to wake myself up. I'm trying to settle my schedule. So he interprets the fact that he forgot to take out the garbage and I'm not talking to him. I'm not smiling like I normally do. It must
Absolutely.
be because I'm angry at him.
Correct. But if you would normally, as you would touch him,
Yep.
right, then
Yep.
that would let him know that
All
you
is
might be
good.
mad about the garbage, but you're still okay with him.
Exactly. So I'm gonna be doing it differently now that you sent some light bulb. Oh my God,
Look
I
at
am so
us.
happy.
Look at us.
Isn't
We
it
got
great?
the relationship coach and me.
Like it's so good because everything that Brian had summed up, he summed up my business about talking about self-discovery and unconditional love for yourself, and then finding the right partner that is a good match for you. Because that's what it all comes down to is that you bring two people together and they both love each other as much as in the example of that couple that's been married for 52 years. They just love on a different language, but
Yeah.
they're not the perfect person for you. And that's why I said it was so parallel our life because when I left my ex, the way I see it, I don't have any bad feeling towards my ex. I don't have feelings at all. Like I'm moved on. Like
That's
I'm
being healed. For
I'm
folks that
healed.
don't know that, just because you're over the situation, even if you have anger, you're not over it. You're
That's
still
right.
dealing with it. When you no longer have an emotion attachment to it, is when you truly are healed from that experience. So you don't have to stay mad at them. It's not a forgive and forget kind of a thing, or I still love them because they're my parent, or I still love them because they're the child's parent,
Mhm.
whatever the situation is. The actual opposite of love and hate or love is actually no feelings at all.
Exactly. And that's what my good friend told me too, is if you still hate the other person, it's because you still love them strongly. It's the opposite. There is still like an emotional attachment to that person.
Absolutely.
So I have nothing, nada.
Yeah. And that's not being disrespectful.
No,
That's
not at
again
all.
being healed,
Yeah.
spending time on your self worth and your self esteem. And
Yeah.
if I knew how to say that in French right now, I would.
I will translate that. So, passer du temps avec soi-même. Puis aussi, I forgot the wording that you said, passer du temps avec soi-même in English, et passer du temps pour se guérir. So anyway, in short, just spending time with yourself and then do some self-healing. One thing that you have said, something that's very interesting as well, because it's important when we talk about not letting other people dim your light. Like in your case, and it also was my case, which I often said that to my ex-husband, is I know we love each other like hugely, big time. I left not because I didn't love the other person anymore. I just come to the realization that putting and two together, we are just toxic for one another. Very bad. I'm the type of person who is always happy. I'm really not complicated, which my boyfriend is super lucky to have. I am just very simple. I like everything and anything. I could be in any setting and it still be magical.
Right. Yeah. It's about the moments and experiences. I totally get that. I totally get
That's
that.
it.
I think I was very similar. I was always too much for
Yeah.
my other individual, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was too loud. I was too happy. I was too excitable. My jokes weren't funny enough. They weren't clever. There was it was always too much. It was never enough. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and again, I started dimming myself, right? I started not telling that joke. I started
Yeah.
not laughing about that. My interest was no longer to be communicated about. And then I
Mm-hmm.
found myself sitting in a room
Yeah.
with complete darkness,
Yeah.
not knowing who I am, who I liked, what I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
COVID did not help that situation by no
No.
means, but
No.
it wasn't the cause of the situation. And I
Yeah.
just found myself in another situation again. Here I am practicing and preaching about knowing who you are and jumping on that. And I was not doing that because of my own guilt,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
I didn't feel that this person deserved to be left again. This person didn't deserve to have their heart broken. I was the bad person. I can suck it up and deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the example I wanted to show my child. It's
Mm-hmm.
I was still young.
Yeah.
I was 40. How old am I now? I'm 45. I was 43 years old.
Yeah.
I
I
had to
don't
think.
know how old you are. You look young. That's why I don't
45.
know how old you are.
I was 43 years old. I had a lot more years. As we talked about, I don't want to live till 90. So I have at least 40 more years to love. Don't I deserve another 40 years to love?
You do,
I do.
honestly.
I do.
Everybody does. And that's why, like for me, I am so passionate about love. I just I don't know why I love love, but I do. I do. I've been born completely romantic, a deeply romantic. And for many years I thought that was a defect, to be so enthralled by love to this extent, like to this huge extreme. Like I thought I had to dim it down, like, and then I get people oftentimes telling me like, you're always so happy, like it's not normal. Yeah.
You just gotta stop repeating the same habits, right? So, for example, what my habit is, when and if I get married again, one, I'm not proposing. I've done it twice. I'm not doing it anymore. Okay. Actually, I've done it 3 times. I'm not doing it anymore. I've had a small wedding,
Yeah.
small church wedding, and I had, as I call it, a humongous party. I don't even
Mm-hmm.
call it a wedding. It was
Mm-hmm.
62 days worth. It wasn't even worth that. So
Mm-hmm.
I had an oversized party. We themed it to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It was
Oh,
great.
so cool.
So the next time, if that would happen, which is okay, um, it won't happen in May because both of my marriages happened in May. Both of my divorces happened in January. So no May weddings and no divorces. There will be only annulments. That is the only option on this. We get an annulment, okay? So if you want to marry me, you will sign a prenup that says no divorce, only annulment.
I can't help it. This is like the most fun I ever had on a podcast ever. It's so
When
good. I don't want this to
it gets
end.
funnier.
Oh,
When the second the former wife left and I got the divorce, my friends at the time, the show Friends was really popular still.
yes.
So they would call me Ross because Ross liked to get married and
Yes.
then divorce.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so they called me Ross because they thought
Oh,
it was so funny.
no. Oh God. But you know what? We go through these chapters and stuff. And when you're talking about being remarried, like after I got my divorce, sadly I stopped believing in love because I was 21. It was my first boyfriend. I have zero experience. So I've never dated, didn't know what was good, what was not good. And I think at that time I was just desperate to be loved by somebody and just to have a boyfriend like anybody else, you know?
Well, listen, the only love that you knew of, you're 40, so 5 years younger. What, Party of Five? 90210, right? You had this
Yeah.
idea of what, this whole high school
Right.
sweetheart, that's what you're
Right.
supposed to do. And
Yeah.
we're just, it's
That's it.
crazy on how this world will dictate how we think we're supposed to feel.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that every relationship is defined by only the people in it.
That's right. And I
Who
truly
says
agree
that
with
you have to date for a year and then get married and then have children and then do this and buy a house? Who says any of that?
you.
Who
Yeah.
says you have to not live together before you get married? Who
Hmm.
says you can only live together for 2 weeks? Who says that you can't see the bride before the wedding? Why
Hmm.
are all these rules in place that we're following that clearly are not working for us?
That's it. And I'm the type of person who I've learned over the years, but luckily I knew that as well as a kid, but I follow the path of everybody else. But as I got older, I realized, and it's always been in me, is like, who says I can't do it my way? Who says that the rule that is there was not are not to be questioned? Like who says that
We
this
do.
is
We do.
yeah.
We were 21 and we wanted to do something crazy. Who was telling us we don't do it like that?
Mm,
Right? It's
mm,
us that are telling ourselves this
yeah,
isn't how people do this. This isn't how you fall in love.
yeah,
Think about when dating apps first came out.
right.
Oh, I'm on a dating app, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
people that are on dating app, it was never attractive people, right? It was
Mm-hmm,
never smart people.
mm-hmm.
Now it's cell phones. Who
Yeah.
had cell phones when we were teenagers?
Mm.
Nobody. Everyone it's just what become the norm. And
Yeah.
if we allow our minds to be the norm and
Mm-hmm,
not worry about what our neighbors are doing, because our neighbors aren't giving us love.
mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. Yeah. And I think about it, and when I look at that, is I when I look about the relationship, I was in a relationship where not because the person was doing it intentionally, because I knew like from all of my training in psychology and so on and so forth, looking at the way they grew up and so on, I couldn't ask of this person to love me the right way because they didn't get the love that they needed growing up as a kid. They offer me the best version of what they know how from what they saw, their environment, and their own personality as well. And the one thing that my neighbor told me that was really good, without telling me to get a divorce, when I was actually going to them, they were like my second parent because my parent was further away, and I didn't like to bother my parents. Like I was the oldest in the family, so I kind of pretty much shoulder all of my problem on my own shoulder. I didn't want them to have to worry. They gone through a lot, the war, the refugee camp, and so on. So my shit is my shit. I'll deal with it, and I'm the oldest. And so my
Isn't that
second,
what us kids do, right?
yeah,
For many different reasons. I mean, I don't want people to sit here and think it's a cultural thing. So I don't think it may be a cultural thing, but I
mm-hmm,
also think it's a humanity thing, right?
mm,
It's a character thing for you,
yeah,
not wanting to put your shit
yeah,
onto other people. And it might
yeah,
be your parents today.
yeah,
Tomorrow will be a friend that you don't want to
mm,
talk about having a bad day with,
yeah,
right? So you keep it in.
yeah.
Those are ways that you're dimming your light, though,
Oh, it is okay. Why is that?
because you're
Curious.
dimming your light because you're caring more about what their response is going to be. Well, let's just use your friend for the example because I
Yeah.
can't compete against parents. Like I can't. So we're going to use your friend. And this can go for anybody. You
Right.
have a bad day, but you don't tell that friend that you have a bad day, right? Because we
Mm-hmm.
all have roles in our relationships.
Yeah.
So strictly just talking platonic.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the friend that's always late to the meetings or the hangout, right?
Yeah.
Or who's the person that is the one that's always the initiator? They're the
Mm-hmm.
one calling or texting first. They're the
Right.
one checking in first.
Yeah.
Who's the friend that's the planner? Hey, we're
Mhm.
going to do this Friday night. You bring the popcorn.
Right.
The moment that role changes, so for example, me, I'm the initiator.
Hmm.
If I stop initiating, it's not going to happen. I change the role of my relationship in my
Yeah.
relationship with you.
Okay.
It's just not going to happen because
Mm.
you've never had to initiate because
Hmm.
I've always done that. That's
Right.
been my role.
Right.
And we never want to put stuff on. I mean, there's a difference between like a true friend, right? Your Ryan Die
Yeah.
versus your acquaintance friend, someone you
Yeah.
might talk to 2 times a week, or that person that you see in the grocery store that your child goes to school with that you really don't like, but the kids play together. And so you've got to be polite, right?
Hmm.
You know just enough about them, but not too much. We
Yeah.
don't give ourselves to people. We used to, but we
And I
don't do
think
that.
you touch base on it very well. Like when I don't have a problem with my friends, I have like close friends. I have very amazing friends, but they're less than two, like these less than 10.
Yeah. And
Um
that's okay. That's all you
and
really only need one, right? So if you have
yes,
multiple of that particular group of a circle,
yeah.
count your blessings.
Exactly. And it's really like in the book, like I think Harvard did a study. It's really about the quality versus the quantity because they were doing a research with regards to a couple who were actually in a healthy relationship where they lived longer, had much better sex, and they were thriving in their business. They studied them over a long generation of time as it passed on, so they found out, and I don't want to mix different research together, but I'm pretty sure this is the one. They did study over generation, is that the person that was going through the depression and so on and so forth, having the partner that was compatible and aligned to who they were, and they feel like they can be themselves, we're actually much more successful from generation to generation as it passed
Oh,
on. Yeah. Then the partner who were actually looked like they were thriving then, and but the partner that they were with were not compatible to them. And then as you see over the long period, that person was more miserable, more grumpy, really didn't live that long. So it is so crucial, and that's why I'm so motivated to really helping people find their perfect person, because I think there is, not that the person is perfect, but their ideal person that is good for them in all of their imperfection. Like I think about you, and there are people out there, because I had friends who had like a whole lot of energy, who talk very loud, and who had these jokes and stuff. And most people would go, oh, I can't handle them, or oh god, they're just too much for me. But then that person finds another person who actually are either the
celebrates that.
same as them and celebrates that and see the potential and see this like hidden gem that's in that girl, and they make a perfect match together. So I realize that when you find your true compatible partner, you can just let go of all of that defense and just be yourself, because
I,
that's what.
I 100% agree. You
Yeah.
know, typically people either absolutely adore me
Yeah.
and want to soak up the energy,
Mm-hmm.
or they absolutely run the other direction because they have
Mm-hmm.
no idea how to take in all of
Mm-hmm.
this. This is a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
those are straight up honest.
Mm-hmm.
They are running toward me or running against me. But listen, in saying that, we're getting close to end this session. I
Yeah.
feel like we need a part two. I
We
feel like
do. We do need a part two. I really want to be able to do the part two of this one. But I do, before we leave, Brian, I want to be able to actually highlight you, because absolutely, Brian just been terrific. We had to go through my website and tweaking all these different things, and all the little stuff. They take time, and they take really, like, so I appreciate you for having the time to take and listen to all my feedbacks and my questions and stuff like that. I want to be able to promote you. So if you can maybe just talk a little bit more about what you do, what project that you have coming up, and so on, Brian.
absolutely. But let me jump in and saying it's easy when I have clients like yourself that maybe are not aware of marketing aspects that are
Mm,
open when I say, hey, you know what? That's not the best way to do this. This
hmm.
is something that they're going to more be appreciative of or whatnot.
Right.
But you're also very specific and say, no, this is what I want. This is how it needs to be, which has been great for me as well because I'm no longer now just driving the train.
Okay.
You are engaged in it. You feel the love with your site. You can feel that passion. And when someone's engaged with something, be it a website, be it their brand, be it you as a person,
Mm,
then it's a win-win at the end of the day. But to answer your question, at the end of the day, I really work on building the small businesses brand organically and authentically.
mhm,
They're not on the same playing field as a small business or a medium or large size business. They don't have the same availabilities to them as far as consulting or information. They don't know what they don't know. And when
mhm,
they figure out what they know, they don't even know what to do with it. Because
mhm,
one, they're an expert in their field, in their industry. If they knew all the marketing aspects, they'd be a marketing guru, right? But they're
mhm.
not. They're a love coach or a
Yeah.
relationship coach or a real estate agent, whatever that passion that they have. So for them to be
Mhm,
to come to me and say, hey, help me build my brand, help me understand that through app advertising or digital billboards,
mhm,
social media,
mhm,
video edit, creation. I mean, anything that we can do, networking and resourcing and being a tool, just to be able
mhm,
to say, hey, let me connect you with XYZ. I mean, I think just this week alone, you and I have probably connected 4 or 5 different people with one
mhm,
another that
mhm,
may be a good resource or maybe a good working relationship or a prospect. So it's
mhm,
building those relationships at the end of the day. Yeah, I
mhm.
do digital billboards. Yeah, I do digital advertising. But at the end of the day, I'm a relationship guy. I'm
Yeah.
that go-to guy that you can go to connect with a resource that you may need, be it a person, a service, a product, or maybe just a good cup of coffee in the morning.
I love that, Brian. It really, you summed it up well because we work so hard in growing our business. Everybody want to be able to succeed. Everybody want to be able to make it. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the relationship that you build. And thank God, because honestly, throughout my whole journey, I've only met just amazing people through the process. But maybe that's also because that's what I put out in the
You
universe. That's
radiate from the sun. So listen, we could continue this conversation on. We really do need to set up a part two. So make sure you come
absolutely.
back and see myself and the relationship guru, who not only focuses on finding you the true love as a partner, but first builds that foundation with building the perfect you.
Oh,
Someone that you love, someone that you look up to. So she definitely works from the inside out, so that way you're able to attract the very best that you deserve now that you are the best. So
you
thank you for doing
are
what you do.
you are the best. I'm gonna let you end on this last note, like whatever verb, proverb, or anything that you want to say as your last thought of magical. Because you have a magical touch of just putting things out there and putting it in a way that is so easy to digest. So I'm gonna let you end with this. I wanted to thank you for taking the time, and I know my guests are actually gonna really enjoy this, and we're gonna promote it as well. But there'll be a part two, and I can't wait for
There
the
will be a
part two
part
because
two.
we always
What's
have
my favorite
everything.
quote, which is,
Yes.
you can do anything in the world that you want to do it, just do it, or someone else will. So
Yes.
why not be you?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? I love you, buddy. So thank you
Hugs. Be
guys.
safe,
Thank you
everybody.
for assisting. It is fantastic.